All right, so I'm going to give a little intro to surface editing. So if you run the forest command for edit segmentation, which is will be in the tutorial right next to this, then you're going to get a view that's something like this, and we'll choose all of the colors and stuff. So you have a bunch of surfaces in here. So you have some volumes. This is the segmentation. So this is the automatic segmentation. It's like, all of these different areas. We don't really need to look at that one. The most helpful ones to look at are the white matter. So this is the segmentation from which the surface is derived of white matter, and the brain mask. So this is just the background T1. Sometimes we look at this one with heat. This is what we edited in the previous step, but sometimes I find it helpful to look at it with grayscale here, because then I can see the contrast between the white matter and the brain mask. And then we have these two lines. So these are surfaces, and you can see them down in the 3D view over here. This is the peel surface and the white matter surface, and like the boundary between the space between these two surfaces define your cortex, right? So and actually, like, when it is flattening or inflating, the white matter has really high curvature. So like more distortion can result from your white matter surface being bad than your peel surface, which is the outside. So it's the white matter surface is the one that's kind of more likely to be wrong. Um, and the peel surface, the only inputs you have into it, like the algorithm is some amount good, right, and some amount bad, but the only inputs you have into this blue surface, the peel surface, is the brain mask. So if you have the brain mask segmentation and the white matter segmentation, then those two things together define these two surfaces. So we can only correct the white matter segmentation, basically. And it's not perfect. So we have to go through the slices. I usually go through the coronal slices or the horizontal slices. The sagittal slices are weird because you're pulling away from the main white matter tracks, and so it's really discontinuous. Whereas, like horizontal, you get this nice, or a coronal, you get this nice view. So mostly we are just looking for places that have a bunch of white matter that shouldn't be labeled as white matter, or have there should be white matter and they shouldn't. So like looking here, what's suspicious? First of all, there's like, okay, obviously things like this, but the algorithm is not really picking up on that anyway, so it's not really a problem. I'm going to delete it anyway. To delete anything, you go over to voxel edit, click that, and then you just like control, I think it's shift, shift draw will remove stuff, and then just left click will add stuff to your mask. Make sure that while you are doing this, white matter mask over here, WM, is the one that's selected because that's the mask that we want to edit. So looking at this, there's some weirdness here, right? Like this is a weird sharp point. We'll page up and page down, goes through the slices. Not sure exactly what's causing it to be sharp like that. I mean, this is obviously something that shouldn't be there. That's not white matter. It could be that those things are causing it through some kind of averaging. Just filter through the slices and correct things. This is, how we do it. But there might also be some other weirdness here. Like white matter mask is coming out all the way to here. Is that right? Not really. Like the white matter to me, if I look at the actual brain mask, so this is the T1 values masked out, but this is the T1 is your brain mask. That's this surface over here, or this volume over here. It doesn't look like the white matter is tracing it quite exactly. To me, it looks like this right here is the edge of the white matter, and this is gray matter out here. So I think that's part of what's causing some of this. So I will go ahead and I can see, okay, it's actually like this bit down here, I think is the white matter. And then we can remove some of this. I actually need a smaller brush size. You can go down to brush size 1 to just like edit individual pixels. And it looks a little bit more like that. I think the same thing is happening over here. We've got a little bit of extra white matter. So we'll do that. And it's kind of a decision of, I think it'll be something to talk about like how, oh, sorry, I was editing the wrong mask there. Let's Control Z on that. Make sure, as I said, you are selecting the white matter mask. And then then it looks like this. That's right. I think it's going to be a question of how often are we doing this, how careful do we want to be. If you make good surfaces, the main thing is that you will then be able to make nice flat maps. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of extra white matter here. Like when the white matter is even going into where the peel classification ends up, you kind of know that that's wrong. Yeah, let's look here. I would say this is probably not. And then you do have to like just go through and do things on adjacent slices. So it's like, yeah, it can be a bit of a pain. I actually think this down here is kind of correct. Like that maybe white matter. I mean, it's going to draw it in here anyway. Yeah. Okay, and you mostly want to look for places where it is affecting the surface, making the surface weird. A lot of this is looking pretty okay. Let's zoom out a bit. So there was that little sharp point in the peel surface, and that's why we zoomed into that area. I mean, obviously, if you see other things that just like look wrong, then fix them. This is interesting up here. This might actually be an error of exclusion because this looks like this could be part of the white matter track to me. Maybe it was right. Maybe we could add a couple more voxels there. Let me look through. All right. And it's an exhaustive process. You go through and clean it up, adding and removing voxels as necessary. The things that I was looking at just now were really quite small, picky things. And it's like, okay, well, clearly, if you've got white matter that's pushing all the way to the edge of the peel surface, that's not really accurate. And FreeSurfer is smart enough to know that it shouldn't be doing that, so it smooths it out anyway. But if you want to be really careful and get a really good surface, you'll go through and fix a lot of these things. When you're done, you just make sure you press save, which is Control S, and then close the program, and then rerun, and the other steps will be there. Thanks.